All right. A 3-game shooting slump. And other than that, in the injuries, it's been business as usual for most games. And she had a triple double this year. So let's take a look at this because we learned a lot here. And it, to me, shows that when it comes to Caitlin Clark, these players are not getting any better.
The 2025 WNBA All-Star selection process has exposed substantial inconsistencies across different voting constituencies, particularly regarding player evaluations and recognition standards. These disparities illuminate complex dynamics within professional women's basketball that extend beyond simple performance metrics. Clark achieved captain status through unprecedented public support, garnering an exceptional 2.93 million fan votes that established new participation records. This overwhelming response demonstrates her remarkable ability to engage basketball audiences and generate widespread interest in women's professional sports. Her fan appeal transcends traditional basketball demographics, suggesting broader cultural impact that extends beyond court performance.
Kiki Iriafen has been better than Aaliyah Boston. And you might be saying, oh, Kiki just struggled for her last 3 or 4 games. Well, that doesn't really make that much sense either, because if these votes were taken back then, it makes some of the guard votes even more embarrassing. If these votes were taken 4 or 5 games ago, Aja Wilson's team was 2 games below 500, and Nafisa Collier's team had lost 1 game. They lost 1 game up to that point. So
the All-Star framework employs a 3-tier system where fan preferences represent 50% of final calculations, while media assessments and player evaluations each contribute 25%. This structure attempts to balance popular appeal with professional expertise and peer acknowledgement, though the resulting combinations often produce unexpected outcomes. Clark's treatment across these categories reveals dramatic variations in evaluation approaches. While supporters placed her atop guard rankings with historic enthusiasm, media representatives positioned her 3rd in their assessments. Most significantly, fellow professionals ranked her 9th among guards, creating substantial divergence that influenced her composite standing.
I think they're locked in. They're bound and determined to hate on the Indiana Fever guard. And I think a lot of it's got to do with how popular she is with the fans and the television ratings and everything. We know that they can't stand her for. It showed up in this vote. Seriously. The 2025 WNBA All-Star Game is fast approaching, and the player pool is filling up after Caitlin Clark and Nafisa Collier were.
This 9th-place professional ranking carries particular weight given Clark's statistical contributions throughout the season. Her performance includes averaging 18 points per game while leading the league in assists at 8.9 per contest. She has achieved a triple-double during the current campaign, showcasing versatility across multiple statistical dimensions that typically command peer respect. Comparative analysis with other players highlights these evaluation inconsistencies. Skylar Diggins produces 18.9 points and 6.1 assists per game, while ranking 7th in league scoring and 4th in assists. Her voting treatment differed significantly, placing 4th in media rankings and 3rd in player assessments, but dropping to 9th in fan preferences, ultimately preventing starter selection despite strong professional support.
what are we doing? Why is Nafisa Collier? I'm not joking when I say this. How did Nafisa Collier go below Aja Wilson in the player vote? There's no logic to it. Fee is averaging more points on a better team, playing better defense. I don't get it. Brianna Stewart was below Nneka Nwumeke. I don't mind that in player votes and media rank. Aaliyah Boston almost didn't get an all-star starter spot because the media.
Paige Bueckers represents another compelling narrative within these selections. The rookie guard achieved recognition as only the 6th first-year player to earn All-Star starter designation, joining an elite group including Clark, Aaliyah Boston, Shea Chumley, Brittany Griner, and Maya Moore. Her selection demonstrates that exceptional debut performances can overcome typical experience preferences in All-Star consideration. The complete starting configuration features established veterans alongside emerging talents: Aja Wilson, Brianna Stewart, Nneka Ogwumike, Alyssa Thomas, Sabrina Ionescu, and Satu Sabali complete the starting roster. Ogwumike's inclusion marks her 10th All-Star appearance, illustrating the balance between veteran recognition and developing talent in final selections.
Was named captains on Sunday. By virtue of the most fan votes, the 8 other starters were revealed on Monday. Paige Beckers, Asia Wilson, Brianna Stewart, Nneka Agumake. The latter will make her 10th All-Star appearance. And far as some of the others, guys, Alicia Gray, Sabrina Ionescu, Aaliyah Boston is named as starter. And Satu Sabali having a real good season, by the way.
Reserve announcements scheduled for July 6th precede the draft process on July 8th, where Clark and fellow captain Afi Collier will construct their respective teams. This format introduces additional competitive elements to All-Star festivities while highlighting leadership personalities and strategic preferences. The evaluation disparity suggests different prioritization criteria across voting groups. Fan preferences often emphasize marketability, spectacular plays, and cultural influence beyond statistical measures. Media assessment typically incorporates comprehensive analytical review, team impact evaluation, and professional basketball expertise. Player voting theoretically represents peer judgment based on direct competitive experience and intimate understanding of individual contributions.
Ranked her as the 9th best forward. Not only that, the media ranked Aaliyah Boston below Kiki Iriafen. And by the way, Angel Reese as the 12th best forward, I think is a bit of a crazy one. You know what? To be fair, like, Angel Reese did, if it was done 3 games ago, Angel did have 2 of her best 3 games of the season or her 2 best games of the season in the last 3 games. So there was maybe a little bit to say for that, but still, either way, like,
Clark's statistical profile during this period includes certain challenges alongside her strengths. She has endured a recent 3-game shooting struggle that temporarily impacted overall field goal percentages. Her 3-point shooting percentage has fluctuated around 30%, falling below elite standards for perimeter specialists. However, these temporary difficulties occur within the context of her overall offensive production and exceptional playmaking capabilities. The turnover element of Clark's performance has attracted criticism from observers, questioning whether her aggressive playmaking creates excessive possessions for opponents. Statistical analysis typically evaluates turnover rates contextually with assist rates and overall offensive responsibility, suggesting high-usage players naturally generate elevated turnover numbers.
And I probably mentioned Asia Wilson. So the reserves are up next, all right? The reserves will be announced on July 6th, so another week. Once the full player pool has been determined, Clark and Collier will draft their rosters on July 8th. Now, let's look at this next subtitle right here. Players not high on Caitlin Clark.
Television ratings evidence supports arguments that Clark's participation significantly influences viewership figures for WNBA contests. Her games consistently attract larger audiences than standard league matchups, contributing to increased revenue and exposure for the entire organization. The All-Star Game traditionally achieves strong ratings, and Clark's involvement in Indianapolis anticipates exceptional viewership numbers. The Indianapolis venue adds significance to this year's festivities. Playing in Indiana provides Clark with approximated home court advantage while potentially maximizing local and regional engagement with the event. This geographic factor could contribute to record-breaking attendance and television ratings, benefiting all participants.
Angel was only the 5th highest voted forward. So her fans, dear Lord, you guys got to get out there and vote. You guys got to get out there and vote. But for me, this is a travesty that Kiki Iriafen was voted over Leah Boston. But now we've got the worst. And by the way, we at least know who the players voted under Aaliyah Boston were. Over Aaliyah Boston. We know. I don't even think Gabby Williams over Aaliyah Boston is the worst decision in the world. Alyssa Thomas over Aaliyah Boston.
Historical patterns suggest voting controversies often generate additional interest and discussion surrounding all-star events. The disparity between fan enthusiasm and player evaluation creates narrative tension that sports media and audiences find compelling. This storyline type often translates into increased engagement with the actual game and surrounding activities. Forward position evaluations revealed equally problematic patterns. Kiki Iriafen receiving superior votes compared to Aaliyah Boston appears questionable considering Iriafen's position within her team structure. She isn't recognized as the primary performer on her squad, nor is she considered the strongest rookie on a team lacking playoff positioning. The comparison becomes more apparent when examining Boston's comprehensive contributions and team achievement.
They can't help it. It's crazy. Caitlin Clark was named captain because she received the most fan votes, a record-setting 2.93 million, almost 2.3 million. But she did not have the highest weighted score among guards. That's not even the total issue here. It's how bad this gets otherwise. While she finished first in fan voting,
Inconsistencies extend to other prominent forwards. Nafisa Collier, despite leading a team with exceptional records and posting superior individual statistics, received fewer player votes than Aja Wilson. This decision lacks logical foundation considering Collier's scoring averages, defensive impact, and team performance. Collier demonstrates excellence across multiple game facets while maintaining efficiency on a more successful team. Additional forward rankings raised concerns, including Brianna Stewart's placement below Nneka Agwamaike in player votes. While this positioning might have justification, the pattern of unexpected rankings continues throughout voting results. Boston nearly missed All-Star starter status due to media rankings, placing her 9th among forwards, with some outlets ranking her below Irifen.
Obviously. But it's just the Kiki Irifen one that's a shock. I have no idea who's between Aaliyah and Angel Reese, but there's no way Kiki Irifen. There's no way Angel Reese should be any lower than 8th. Realistically, should be top 7, but at the end of the day, the players voted Satu Sabally over Alyssa Thomas, as in the engine that makes the Phoenix Mercury go was voted below a 30% shooter. I don't know. But then we've got the guards, and this is embarrassing. This one's embarrassing because, again,
Angel Reese's placement as the 12th ranked forward generated discussion, though her recent strong performances may have occurred after voting periods. Despite lower ranking, Reese received only the 5th highest vote total among forwards, suggesting her supporter base could have been more active in voting processes. Guard position voting revealed concerning patterns beyond Clark's situation. Several rankings appeared disconnected from court contributions. Natasha Cloud received votes as the 4th best guard, despite not being among the top 4 most impactful players on her own team. The New York Liberty has demonstrated competitive ability without Cloud, while other teammates have shown greater importance to team success.
and 3rd in media voting, she was 9th. She was 9th in player voting. God, the level of disrespect by these players in the league is putrid. It's puke. As a result, her weighted score was a 3.5, just behind Paige Beckers. What? Beckers has been outstanding to start her.
Brittany Sykes received 7th place votes despite her team performing better in her absence. This evaluation suggests voters may not have considered advanced metrics or team impact when making selections. The ranking becomes questionable when compared to other guards receiving lower votes despite superior individual and team performance. 2 unidentified guards received votes above Clark, creating additional mystery around voting processes. These selections represent guards outside the top 10 overall who somehow earned recognition above one of the league's most visible and statistically productive players.
if this was 3 games ago, it was before Caitlin Clark's second injury. So the last couple of games, in fairness, she did have a 2 or 3 game slump when the players are voting, but like they voted her 9th best guard in the WNBA. They voted Paige the 4th best guard, and I actually don't even disagree with Paige the 4th best guard. They voted Natasha Cloud as the 4th best guard in the WNBA. Natasha Cloud.
Kelsey Plum's 16th place ranking stands out as particularly problematic. Plum has carried significant responsibility for her team, averaging 21 points and nearly 6 assists per game, while leading a struggling squad to competitive performances. Her statistical production and leadership roles suggest she deserved much higher consideration from fellow players. Voting patterns reveal potential bias regarding team success, as players from championship contending teams appeared to receive preferential treatment regardless of individual merit. This approach creates inconsistencies when applied selectively, as some players from successful teams received lower rankings despite strong individual contributions.
Professional career, joined by exclusive club of rookies to be named starters in the All-Star game. Becker's just the 6th first-year player to achieve the feat, joining Clark, Boston, Shoni Schimmel, Brittany Griner, and Maya Moore. I mean, wow. Now, by the other side of the token, Skylar Diggins was not high for the fans. She's 7th in the league in scoring and
Jackie Young's 12th place finish in player voting represents another significant oversight. Young has arguably been the most consistent performer for the Las Vegas Aces throughout the season, yet received minimal recognition from peers. This ranking suggests either lack of awareness regarding her contributions or possible bias related to team dynamics. The contrast between player voting and media rankings reveals different evaluation criteria and perspectives. Media members place several players differently than their professional peers, creating additional layers of inconsistency in overall all-star selection processes.
She's not even the 4th best player on her team. We've seen, by the way, we have seen the New York Liberty without Leo Phoebish, and we've seen them without we've seen them without her, and we've seen them without Jonquel Jones. They are clearly more important to this team than Tash Cloud. They're clearly more important to their team. And then we also saw Brittany Sykes get voted.
These voting controversies highlight broader issues within the WNBA regarding player evaluation, recognition, and criteria used for all-star selection. The disconnect between statistical performance, team impact, and peer recognition suggests need for more standardized evaluation processes. The situation raises questions about whether players have sufficient information about peers' contributions or whether other factors influence voting decisions. Inconsistencies could stem from limited exposure to other teams' games, personal relationships, or different philosophies about what constitutes all-star-worthy performance. These voting results will likely generate ongoing discussion about selection processes and whether modifications are needed to ensure deserving players receive appropriate recognition. The disparities between performance metrics and voting outcomes suggest the current system may not effectively identify the league's top performers during all-star selection periods.
4th in assists at 18.9 points a game, 6.1 assists, but she missed out on the starting spot because she was so low in the fan vote. While she was 4th in the media vote and 3rd in the player vote, she was 9th in the fan vote, which accounts for 50% of the total vote. As a result, her weighted score of 6.25 remained ranked 6th among guards. If it's any consolation, she will definitely be
Clark's injury history during the season adds context to voting considerations. She has missed games due to various physical issues, which may have affected both statistical totals and peers' perception of her availability and durability. Professional athletes often value consistency and reliability when evaluating colleagues for special recognition. The voting results demonstrate complex dynamics within professional women's basketball, where talent recognition intersects with popularity, media attention, and interpersonal relationships among competitors. These factors combine to create voting patterns that don't always align with conventional statistical analysis or fan expectations.
As a 7th best, I'm sorry, Brittany Sykes' team is better without her. Like Brittany Sykes over Caitlin Clark. And by the way, there are 2 guards that we have no idea. Like, there are literally 2 guards that are not in the top 10 overall that got voted above Caitlin Clark. We've got no idea who they are. And by the way, Kelsey Plum at 16 is mental. It is mental. And it just shows the whole Aces run the damn league. So Kelsey Plum leaves the Aces. And by the way, I don't think Kelsey Plum has been.
Looking ahead to the actual All-Star game, these voting controversies may add competitive edge to what is typically a celebratory exhibition. Players' awareness of voting disparities could influence their approach to the game and interactions with both teammates and opponents during festivities.